are black is the reason that people follow them. So obviously you're saying that you don't believe in identity politics, but the whole reason behind the foundation of your movement is the fact that you're black. So saying that you don't believe in identity politics is a bit contradictory because it just doesn't make any sense, because that's the reason that your movement is so popular. It's because you're black. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Moji, and on my channel I make school, lifestyle, and opinion videos. So for today's video, I just decided that I was gonna film another opinion video. If you guys didn't see my last opinion video, I basically just talked about being called whitewashed and what it meant to be whitewashed in my opinion. So if you guys are interested, I'll link that video right here. So I have talked about black conservatism on my channel before. If you guys haven't seen that video, I will link it here again. And in that video, I basically talked about the positive impacts or the positive side of black conservatism. And today I'm going to be talking about the problems that I discovered with the movement and the problems that I think need to be fixed if the movement wants to become better. This is just my opinion. If you guys have a different opinion, you can comment down below. I don't mind hearing a different opinion, but these are just my opinions, and these are ways that I think that the black conservative movement can get better, and these are the problems that I just think that the black conservative movement has. So let's just get into it, because this is going to be a pretty long video, because I have a lot of problems that I discovered. Because when I first heard about the movement, I just thought it was like an amazing opportunity for black people to start thinking differently and to not be like a monolith. But now that I've just seen like what the movement is really, I just don't think maybe it is the best thing for black people. But let's just get into it. So the first problem that I think that the black conservative movement has is that they're way too aggressive with their approach. Obviously, the spokesperson for the black conservative movement is Candace Owens. And Candace Owens, although she's quite intelligent and she's very outspoken, I just think that she comes off as way too aggressive. And I hate the narrative of the angry black woman, and this is not the picture that I'm trying to paint of Candace Owens. I don't think she's an angry black woman. I actually hate the phrase angry black woman, but I just do think that she's quite aggressive when she is trying to make people understand her point of view. And I feel like that the fact that she's way too aggressive and the fact that most black conservatives are way too aggressive, it really doesn't help the movement to move forward, because it makes people not want to hear what they're saying. That's one thing that I definitely think needs to change. I think they have to, like, I don't want to say they have to have a lighter tone, because conservatives have always been attacked for their values, but I do think that the way that they come across is way too aggressive, and they need to change that, especially Candace Owens. Second thing is that they claim that they don't believe in identity politics, but clearly their whole movement is founded on the idea of identity politics, because the reason that people support them is because they're black and conservative. Obviously, if they were not black and conservative, they wouldn't have the following that they had today, because they're super different. Because obviously it's not something that you hear every day, being black and conservative. So the fact that they are black is the reason that people follow them. So obviously you're saying that you don't believe in identity politics, but the whole reason behind the foundation of your movement is the fact that you're black. So saying that you don't believe in identity politics is a bit contradictory, because it just doesn't make any sense, because that's the reason that your movement is so popular. It's because you're black. They complain, so basically black conservatives, what I've noticed is that they complain, obviously just like everyone else, they complain about things, but they don't bring anything new to the table. They have talking points that they use over and over again to make sure that their point comes across, but they don't explain what they're gonna do to help solve the solutions in the black community. Because obviously the reason that the black conservatives are black conservatives is because people in the Democratic Party, black people in the Democratic Party that followed the Democratic Party for decades, they don't like they don't like the fact that they've been neglected by the Democratic Party, so they're joining the black conservatives. But the black conservatives, they're also saying things, but they're not actually doing anything to change. All they're doing is just talking at this point. They talk and talk and talk, and they tell us again and again the problems that the black community has, but they don't actually bring a solution to help the problems that are being had in the black community. So if they were to bring solutions, then they would be bringing something different to the black community. But right now, they're not really bringing anything different. All they're doing is talking, and they're not helping I feel like the Black conservatives, they would be different if they actually brought solutions to the problems that African Americans are faced, especially the problems that they talk about. So most of the problems that they talk about are abortion rates. They talk about the fact that there, in many African American families, there's an absence of father figures. Those are the main talking points that Black conservatives, and personal responsibility is a big one. Those are the three main ones that they talk about, but they don't actually bring solutions to help those three problems. If they brought solutions, then that would be a different story, but they don't, and that's definitely a big problem with Black conservatives. It's all empty promises. The thing that I discovered is that they need to broaden their message. When I first discovered Black conservatives, I was super intrigued and I was very supportive of the movement. But when I first discovered it, I thought that it was the answer. I thought that that was everything. But at this point, I don't really see them doing anything. And I feel like they need to broaden their message, because when I first discovered them, I could literally memorize their talking points within the week that I discovered Black conservatives. I watched a whole bunch of videos and I knew everything they stood for. I knew all of their talking points and I knew their statistics by heart, which is not good. I feel like they should have a message that is not as concentrated. For example, I memorized all of their talking points. For example, the fact that 900 Black African American babies are aborted a day in the United States, how Margaret Sanger was a eugenist, and also the fact that Trump is the cause for the lowest unemployment rate of African Americans in the United States. Those are all talking points that I memorized within a week, because it's the same thing that they're saying over and over again, but they don't actually have solutions for those problems. All they're doing is complaining once again. And they complain that African Americans complain about their problems, but they're complaining and they're not actually doing anything about it. It's another contradicting thing that Black conservatives have. The sixth thing that I wanted to talk, or the fifth thing that I wanted to talk about, is the fact that they always talk about not being a victim. And I understand Candace Owens has a really big emphasis on the fact that she doesn't want to be a victim and she doesn't like victim mentality. But I understand that you don't like the idea of victim mentality, but at the same time, the fact that you don't have victim mentality doesn't mean that other people aren't actual victims. And so what Candace Owens does is she doesn't legitimize the problems that African Americans are being faced with, because she's so concentrated on the fact that she doesn't want to be a victim. Problems that they're being faced with, police brutality, people are hurt by that. Police shootings, people are hurt by that. You can't just say, oh, you're not a victim, and delegitimize their feelings. Why is that word so hard to say? You can't just delegitimize the feelings of people because you don't want to be a victim. I think that's a huge problem, and they need to come off of that, because that's something African Americans are not going to support Black conservatives because of the victim part of their movement. Another point that I had, this is my biggest point, and I'm not even done this video, but my biggest point is the fact that they're so connected to Trump. Oh my God, I feel like the Black conservative movement would be flourishing, but because of their connection to Trump, they're never gonna prosper. That's my personal opinion, because at the end of the day, when Trump is no longer in office, the Black conservative movement is going to die and it's never gonna be revived ever again. Well, that's my personal opinion, but that's what I see and that's what I think, because of the fact that they linked themselves so closely with Trump, and everyone hates Trump. Everyone besides Black conservatives and Republicans hate Trump. Everyone hates Trump, and the fact that especially black people, they hate Trump, and the fact that Black conservatives, they link themselves so closely to Trump, it's gonna make sure that Blacks that are in the Democratic Party, or Blacks that want to leave the Democratic Party, they're not going to go to the Black conservatives, because obviously they see that they're super supportive of Trump and they don't like Trump at all. And they're not willing to listen to the ideas that Black conservatives have in regards to Trump. And because of that, I just feel like they're not going to gain as much support as they want to have. So my thing is, and what I think is, if the Black conservative movement was started before Trump, or if it started and it didn't have a link to Trump, then they would have more support, and they would actually be a movement that could possibly happen and can possibly prosper in the future. But because of the fact that they connected themselves with Trump, I just don't feel like it's gonna prosper in the future. I just feel like once Trump is out of office and they're not gonna gain as much clout as they have. The reason that they have so much clout is obviously because of Trump, and they're not gonna have that clout anymore once he's no longer in office. So if they didn't connect themselves with Trump, they would definitely be a movement that is worth listening to. But because of the fact that they are super Trumpers, oh my God, Black conservatives are so in love with Trump, and if they weren't in love with Trump, I just feel like they would prosper. And also my thing is, I feel like they don't really care that much about the black community at all, because if they did care, then they wouldn't support Trump, because they would obviously rather have the support of the black community instead of the support of Trump. Because if they had the support of the black community, they could actually unite black people together and form a movement that could actually do something and impact black America more than just the support of Trump. But because they care so much about the support of Trump, they're never going to have the support of black Americans. And if I was like a super black conservative, if I was Candace Owens, honestly, I'd rather have the support of my people than the support of one man that is not enabling the support of my people. So that's definitely my opinion on the whole Trump part of the black conservatives. I just feel like it's not a really beneficial thing, and I don't think it's helping anyone, and especially not black Americans. The thing is that they're not actually trying to change anything in the black community. They're doing what they said they wouldn't do. The Democratic Party, obviously, it's hurting black Americans because they're not actually, the problems that are going on in black America is caused by the Democratic Party, and they're not actually helping them. But neither are black conservatives, and they're basically doing what they said they wouldn't do, which is hurting black America. So that's definitely a problem that I see. They're hurting black America by not proposing solutions, and they're not legitimizing the feelings of black Americans in the United States. So if they were to legitimize the feelings of black Americans and try to help them like calmly get over their victim mentality, propose solutions, then that would also help them as well. And if they weren't Trump supporters, that would help them. Those are the three main aspects that I think is not helping the black conservative movement be as big as it could be. There's people that have been conservatives and are conservatives like in their daily lives and everything, but I feel like black conservatives is just kind of like a phase that people are going through, and once Trump is out of office, people are just gonna get over it, and then it's not gonna mean anything. And the amount of power that they could have had to actually help black Americans in the United States, they're gonna lose it. And hopefully at some point black Americans, they're helped with their problems, but at this point there's no one that's willing to go out and actually help them. So yeah, and the reason that I'm saying black Americans, the African Americans, and not really saying I is because I'm Canadian. So I don't think you guys know that, but I'm Canadian. So all of this is from an outside perspective. This is what I'm seeing from an objective point of view, because I'm not living the African American life. But if you guys think something differently, feel free to comment down below, because I'm here to give my opinion, but also to listen to your opinions. So yeah, that was my video on the problems that I think, the problems that I see within the black conservative movement. And I've been like going over that word this whole video, conservative, but you guys understood what I'm trying to say. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video.